order. We'll have a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call of members.
Mayor Moore.
Here.
Trustee Trombley. Here. Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Trombley.
Here.
Trustee Garrett is excused.
Okay, we have the minutes of the two previous meetings. October 21st.
Actually, I think we have
Actually,
three.
October.
Three.
Oops. Okay, the hearing, we don't need to approve the minutes of the hearing, or do we? Would?
I want her, I know,
Okay, we
just
only
in
have
case
two
there's
attendance,
questions.
so I guess I could combine those, the village board meetings of October 5th, October 21st, and October, the hearing minutes from October 26th. We entertain a motion to approve the minutes as read.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Second.
Second.
Great. Are there any additions or corrections? Okay, if not, all in favor of approving the minutes, please say signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. Now, presentation of petitions, communications, and notices from members of the community, and I see we have Mr. McManus, our county legislator, has some news for us.
Well, you know, it certainly was a long day. I'm sure you're aware of the events that took place over at Wyeth today. It appears that Pfizer has decided not only to pull out of Rouse's Point, but the entire North Country. And so you're somewhere between 500 and 600 jobs. The emergency meeting is going to be held tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Did you get invited or not? I don't know.
I didn't hear anything.
Okay. I don't know what level. You know, but in Rouse's Point, you know, Chem Pilot's about 125, and you know, it's and then there's another 200, I guess, that are going to be cut from Acromax. Some of it was planned, some of it was not, and then the one in Shazy, I don't know how many people from this area work in Shazy, but there's almost 300 people down there. So, and you have a small ancillary on the base. There's some research down there of 25 to 30. So there's quite a few jobs. And you know, the last time around, we had a veteran congressman who was able to come across initially with $100,000 for marketing and strategies and so on. And so we will see what our new congressman you know, can do. Hopefully, you know, it's tough because normally you get elected in November and you don't have to start serving until January and so on. And he got elected and he had to, you know, he got sworn in the next day, and you know, that's it. So, but you know, it'll be a two-phased strategy. One is immediate, which is to help the employees. And again, I don't remember the statistics the last time around as to how many people live in the village of Champlain and work over there, but it seemed to me that it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 15% of the people that got cut the last when they had the first major cut. What blew me away was when I asked the mayor a question today about you know, what the total number of people left would be, and it's 400 at you know, Acromac / Wyeth. When you think about, you know, the 2,000 that was there back in the 1980s, it's just quite incredible. And it's still predicated on the issue of Acromax finding these underperforming copyright patents for drugs that then they feel they can market. I mean, it's not, they're not actually, you know, they're going to pick these things up and try and market them. So it's not like Wyeth or like Pfizer, it's different. So I don't know what the impact is going to be on the villages or the town or the county or the school district, but I think we're going to see some darker days. And it's almost as if we were insulated from this. You know, we'd see it on every night on the news, and you'd see all the bad news, and then, you know, Clinton County, because of the Canadian business and the sales tax revenue and so on, seem to be doing okay. But this is going to hurt, and it's going to hurt us up here more than ever. So I will, if there's anything that's going on specifically, I'll probably email you or have Larry do it. Larry is supposed to be there also tomorrow and let you know if there's any outcomes from the meeting tomorrow. But Bill Owens will be sending a representative, so hopefully there'll be some things that we can do. And the question that I don't know is, and no one seems to know the answer, will any of the people that work there now that live up here be transitioned down to Pearl River or some of these other places? And of course, if they are, good for them, but that means that we're losing people up here. They're moving out of the area. Potentially values of housing could drop more if there's a glut on the market and so on. So, as towns and villages and even the county, we're grappling with our budget right now. We started, and I'll just jump into this budget process. We started with about a 14.2%. We got it down to 2.6, and I think if we can get the results in terms, we gave the employees in Clinton County, all 880 of them, an opportunity to get into a new health plan, which has some benefits to it, but it's cheaper to us. If that happens, that tax rate should be under 1%. So we're hoping that that's what it will be for the county. So whether or not, you guys are able to follow suit, or I don't know what the town rate is going to be, do you know?
I think it's less than 2%, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken.
So, everybody's kind of trying, but this puts added pressure, in my opinion, on the municipalities up in this area with the kind of almost cataclysmic, effect that it has when you're losing that kind of employment. So, in any event, we're still working on it, and hopefully, you guys know the state picture is terrible. We're talking about, $10 billion over the next year and a half, and $3 billion right now they've got to cut. And your association is probably lobbying as much as ours, but ours is, just saying, don't give us any mandates that you can't pay for, and don't have current mandates and then take away the money. Just if you're going to cut the whole thing, then cut it, but don't tell us we still have to do it. And that's probably the biggest issue. And whatever lobbying efforts, I know when I was mayor in Rouse's Point, the Conference of Mayors was very effective in terms of knowing the right people to contact in Albany and so on. But Governor Patterson was, and somebody needs to cut somewhere. It's just, but everybody keeps going like this. Don't cut me. So I don't know what's going to happen. So that picture isn't very good. I'm trying to give you some good news here. I don't know whether I got any. I guess I was pleased that the resolution passed last Tuesday on staggered terms. As you probably know, that means for this area there's no change at all. We will stay at 4-year terms, all the odd numbers through the 4-year terms, so it'll just continue. But for all the even number areas, Ellenburg, for example, and there are others, they will get a 2-year term, so that then as we go through the process, there'll only be 5 new legislators every 2 years instead of 10 every 4 years, which I think is far superior. Whether or not we revisit the issue of term limits, I don't know about that. So I guess I commented the last time at the meeting about how we changed our vote on the Northern Tier Expressway, and there's really nothing new on that except that they're going for the whole enchilada, and I don't know whether they're going to get it or not, but it's if Kristen Gillibrand can get $600 million to get it started, then it'll get started. If she can't, it won't. And I just, those are direct stimulus monies, which will be employment monies, which we have a chronic unemployment problem in this country, and now we'll have one here in the Northern Tier even more. So that's where the money should go, and hopefully it will. So in any event, if you have questions, that certainly if I don't know the answer, I will try and get back to you. But if there's anything you want me to take with me to the budget sessions down in Plattsburgh, just let me know. We're having hearings probably the next 3 meetings, and then we will vote on our budget. I believe it's the first week in December we'll vote on our budget. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Legislator McManus. Does anybody have any questions for him? I just had one curious thing. I know from here, the expenses go up more than 1% every year. How are you able to make up that budget shortfall? Did you have to use fund balance, or?
Yeah, we didn't. We did have a nice fund balance, and you know, I give Mike Zero all the credit for that. He's a great budget manager. But we were able to, you know, not replace some people. You know, when jobs came up, that was an issue that helped us out quite a bit. This rechanneling of the health insurance could save us as much as $500 million. We're not, you know, this is huge money that we can save if they buy into this program, and we can change it because in the contract that we have with them, we only guarantee this other plan, which is not that popular. So we came up, we did a lot of shopping around, and I don't know whether that's something that the villages could do. I forgot to mention one other thing that Rouse's Point is doing, and I don't know whether you have, I know you have a water sewer system here, but you know there's Homeland Security monies that are available for fencing, for lighting, anything to protect water supply and so on. And Rouse's Point is applying for, and I think they're going to get, I think it's $20,000 for their water tank, and they're going to be able to put fencing around it. They're going to be able to put a closed circuit television for monitoring and so on. I'm actually going to bring Dave Favreau up here to talk to George about that. And so if you'd like me to, I could call the village and let you know when that meeting is going to be set up, and you know, if you guys want to send somebody over, because you know, it's not applicable to areas where, like for Moores, when I made a presentation in Moores, they don't have that kind of thing, but they are concerned about terrorism, and they are concerned about the water supply and so on. And, you know, you guys, if you get something and it's all Homeland Security monies, there's no matching funding or anything else. I don't know how. What do you have now around your water tank? Do you have?
We have fence around our water plant.
Yeah.
But at the water tank, it's where we have our sand pile.
Yeah.
And it's good that we can do something like that, because the health department had wanted us to put a higher fence around the back.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, as soon as you know, when I set up this meeting, I'll try and I'll let the village know, and if you can't send a representative, I'll change the meeting. I'm not going to base it around one. We'll just. But who would probably come over? You
I would like to go.
Okay. So you're unless there's an emergency, and Mr. Martin. Okay. And you guys are pretty much available, because George said he could do it anytime. I don't know what Dave's Favreau's schedule is, but there's an example of something that, you know, you might be able. I don't know whether you were actually going to spend money on it, but those are the kinds of things that I wasn't even aware of until I was talking to Dave, and I said, Jason, I said, we got villages. You have to be along the border, you know, and that's so. There's Homeland Security money there, you know, and we can secure. I mean, you know, with all due respect to everything else, it's nice to get a fence and so on. But you know, the issue is there. Somebody wanted to do something and bring some poison to the country or something, and taint the water supply, because it would. A small area like this would taint, you know, people all the whole border would then freeze up in terms of, you know, from here to Washington, in terms of, well, if they can do it here, they can do it here. It would have that ripple effect. So it isn't as if it's totally out of the realm of possibility. So when I get that set up, I will give the village a call. But beyond that, you know, I mean, I guess it is. I mean, the biggest part of the county budget is you know, personnel, and it's not easy to ask people to do more with less, but when you get retirements and so on, and, I mean, when you have 880 people, it's a lot easier than it is. But I'm not advocating that you guys cut anybody's position here, but that's what happens. And when you look at the increased cost for retirement and health insurance, but I mean, you know, I don't know if you have investigated the possibility of, I can give you information in terms of the new county plan to see if it's anything that could save you any money, but there might be something there that employees could look at. So anyway,
yeah, it's a big expense for us.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure it is. Do you pay? Is it a percentage of the health for health insurance for the employees? You're paid off?
Some of them pay that, and some of them, the union employees don't pay anything at this time.
Okay.
That- I don't think we'll be able to maintain that.
Okay.
Wow, that's a bad.
Do they continue to have that when they retire?
No.
Okay, so they only have it while they're working.
Right.
Because that's an area that we've had to look at the county too, is the issue of, you know,
It's a big long-term
Yeah.
commitment that you just
I mean,
don't know what it's gonna cost.
you know, philosophically, and I've taken this position, and Greg knows this as a teacher, if you spend 35 years at a place or whatever, you know, then I you know, and that's what you do, then I think there's criteria which might meet people getting that, but certainly not 5 to 10 years employment, for example, and then all of a sudden you get, for the rest of your life, you get health insurance, or you even get 80/20 or whatever. But, you know, when people, what was that?
5 years.
I just picked that figure out of the air. I didn't have anybody in mind here when I said that. But anyway, yeah, I can. Once we get this, we'll have this. It'll be in the paper. You'll see it as to how much we've saved. But it could be, and I think I misspoke. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. If I said 100 million, I meant thousands. But anyway, it's still a lot of money, and I think it's potentially $500,000. I did the same thing. I was making a speech to Cooperative Extension, talking about the amount of money that the state was in and how there was, you know, and I was setting it up with all the draconian cuts that were potential, and I said, it's hard to believe that the state of New York is $3,000 in debt. And it was this hush that came over the room, you know. I had a long day, and I went, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to, you know. And so anyway, but I will, I'll get that to you, and I'll let you know in the meeting. Okay.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Okay, the other report, Mike Tatro, code enforcement.
Pretty quiet right now, still chasing after junk and litter and whatnot. We did have that hearing though a week or so ago with the property down here, and it was my understanding that nothing was going to happen in there until he submitted a report from his engineer of the status of the building. Did I get that right? Or
As far as construction, yes.
because the reason I'm asking is he submitted a building permit application to start working there, and I was under the impression that this wasn't going to happen until the village got that report and outlined what needs to be done. So I sort of need some direction here, what you want me to do.
Well, I think we should follow what transpired at the meeting, which was that we, because of major structural damage that we...
Right, so no building permit will be issued until we get that report from his...
Well, what needs to be done is to secure the building, make it safe.
From an engineer or architect.
Correct. Pretty much isn't that what he came away with?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page here. Okay. So, all right, so once we have that then, so I'll inform him that we need that before any work can come in through it. Other than that, we have the 2 new companies in the village. They're moving right along. The Testori over on the industrial park, and then the can't think of the name of it.
Elegance Coating.
Yeah, Elegance Coating. They've got their spray machine in there, and they're already painting buses, so they're coming online pretty good. Wish we had some more of them now.
We echo that.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all I have for now.
Anybody have any questions for Mickey? I'll go with Mayor's report. I just want to remind everybody that the final fall pickup days are next week, November 18th and 19th. So if you have anything to go out, make sure you put it out next week, or by next week. And I just wanted to echo what Mr. Amanda said about, employment at Wyeth. It's some people on the board that work there, and it's very trying times, and we're all behind anything that can be done. It affects us also in many ways. So I wish everybody the best and hope everything works out in the end. That's all I have for tonight. Trustee Champlain.
I have no report.
Okay, trustee Martin.
Taking me spot to talk. I'd like to thank Robert Jewell for operating the wastewater plant over the last 5 months. With his help and guidance, the wastewater plant is functioning and is maintained at a commendable level of efficiency. The last inspection by DEC last Wednesday, 11/4, reported no problems with plant operations. Thanks also to Larry and especially Terry and Jimmy for their help and interest in operating, maintaining the wastewater plant. Our new salt storage shed nearing completion. It will be ready before the plowing and sanding season begins, hopefully. The DPW crew has done a great job getting the frame erected and ready for the cover to be installed. Not to mention the money saved by putting up the storage shed with in-house labor. With this salt storage shed, we in the village are ahead of the anticipated state mandates that will have every municipality store their salt reserves under cover. General reminder, and perhaps not so gentle, reminder to businesses and residents to properly dispose of their grease and cooking oils. It is important to keep these substances out of the wastewater system as they severely affect the functioning and operation of our wastewater plant. Thank you. And as a public service, check the newspapers for upcoming flu shot clinics here in Clinton County for both seasonal flu and H1N1 flu. I think the supplies are coming in and the clinics will be hopefully coming forward as well very quickly. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Trustee Trombley.
Short report, but did attend the shared services meeting on October 28th, and I just wanted to report the leak detection was completed on the infrastructure, and there were no leaks. So, a sound report, so that was great news. The other thing is we are still pursuing the crack sealer as a shared service between the three entities, and hopefully we can secure that. But we're Mike's working with John Cooper on that.
Yeah, I spoke with him about that, and he's on it again. So he's got an interest there.
Keep him going.
He's gonna come back with a few different quotes on used equipment, newer equipment, or different proposals, I guess. So they'll have something at our next meeting.
And we have some monies available, so we want to put it to good use, and that would help save a lot of paving, reduce the wear on the highways. And as far as the wastewater treatment plant, I want to echo what Greg just said. Thank you to the crew for a wonderful job you guys done there. I was down there last week, and the place just looks tip top. And I want to echo a special thanks to Bob Jules as well. Bob's knowledge and expertise was extremely beneficial in providing guidance to the crew and getting that plant back in tip-top shape. So thank you, Bob, as well. And thank you to Larry and the crew for taking all the flags down throughout the village. I know it was kind of a tedious job, but we appreciate it. That's all I have.
Thanks, Tom. Another report to the treasurer.
Everybody's been copied with the October expense and revenue report.
Any additions to that, Elena, or is that?
No, that's,
So at this time, I would approve a motion to, or entertain a motion to approve the warrant.
now warrant, we do have one addition.
Okay.
Aaron Sorrell for $60 to be taken out of A1410.4
Okay, is the village
for our website maintenance.
Okay.
What number?
A1410.4,
60?
$60.
Okay, we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve it.
Okay.
Approve the warrant as read.
Warrant, second. Kim, second. Any discussion?
We don't have to have these, or are these on here? These two purchase
No,
requisitions?
those are separate, those are separate from the warrant. I didn't have two of them though. Got two of them. I got one.
And this other?
If there's no discussion, trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Okay, we have 2 purchase orders. I guess I'll do them separately because it's large. We did this as an emergency purchase, but we need to have it approved. It's for the transfer station at the wastewater plant. We had to get a new transfer switch down there. Larry did a good job specking out a part. Got it about half price of what we would have paid
Saving
originally.
$3,500.
This doesn't include the installation though, correct?
That's
Yeah, it's
correct.
just the part. And that's for a total of $4,992. The original, the other quote we got was for,
$85.60.
Twice as much.
yeah, so, I don't think it sounded good. In any event, I entertain a motion to approve this purchase requisition. A second?
Second.
Tom? Any discussion? Not trustee Trombley?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Trombley?
Aye.
And Mayor Moore, aye. Okay, the other thing we have is a hammer drill, which we use for installing our salt shed, which I want to echo what the guy said. You guys did a great job up there putting that together. For $230.59, maybe that, or 56 cents. 56. We have a motion to approve this purchase order.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, Kim. Any discussion? Not trustee Trombley,
Aye.
trustee Martin,
Aye.
trustee Trombley,
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye.
What was that, I'm sorry, was that cold firm? I didn't hear it.
It's from G8130.2, wastewater.
No, for the hammer.
The hammer.
Oh,
drill.
the drill, you got that great.
It's not on here.
Okay, so,
It's 85110.2.
It's fine.
85110.2.
okay, we'll have the report of the superintendent. Larry?
What's that?
Report of the
Turn.
superintendent.
Yeah, you all got my, my log ahead of you. Right now, we're concentrating on getting that salt shed finished, and we should be able, if the wind stays down, we'll put the back on tomorrow. And hopefully Thursday or Friday, or first thing following Monday, we'll have the top on it. Woody's back, and we're working on getting leaves and stuff off the grates on Elmwood and stuff before we get snow and have it froze. And we're still doing some painting at the wastewater plant. I took them around this morning and upgraded on all the stuff that we hadn't been here for 5 months, so we'll be up to par on what we're doing. So, and I ordered myself today, and hopefully it'll be in Thursday, tomorrow or Thursday. And we can put that right in before we put the top on. And everything else is forward.
Line up some help for that top.
Yeah, I'm looking at them.
I'm not gonna get up there by myself.
I got a whip canoe behind you.
Okay, thanks Larry. And I guess I forgot to do that, but I want to welcome Mr. Kissel back to the crew after his disability. Glad to see him back. Okay, you have correspondence?
Letter from Codes Officer Tetro regarding status of Cal Properties buildings. Correspondence from Trident Insurance regarding water line claim. Correspondence from Cal Properties and Ronald Trombley from Attorney Marshall regarding the properties in 1163 and 1165 Route 9. Correspondence from Ken Delafrance regarding his property at 29 Cedar Street. Correspondence from the town of Champlain regarding water and sewer connections for Champlain Mobile. Letter to Ken Delafrance from Code Officer Tetro regarding his property at 29 Cedar Street. Correspondence from the town of Champlain regarding agreement and salary for Code Enforcement Officer. Correspondence from Janice and Jack Dawson thanking the village for their help with Carmelone's property. Correspondence from Ronald Trombley regarding his properties in 1163 and 1165 Route 9. letter to Robert Bergeron, Champlain, Peterbilt, regarding purchase of 2010 single-axle truck with snowplow equipment.
Thank you, Juanita. I guess now moving to new old business. We have the GSA meter, and finally have some news on that. We're planning on meeting next week to go ahead with plans to improve the meter pit, so we'll be able to install that. Don't have any other new things under there. Under new businesses, we need to do a resolution designating the offices and terms of the next village elections, which will be held on March 16th, 2010. You want to read that one, Ida?
2010 elections, Village of Champlain. Whereas the next village election for offices of the Village of Champlain, New York will be held on March 16, 2010. Whereas the Board of Trustees of said village must designate by resolution published offices which are to be filled at such election and the terms thereof, then be it therefore resolved that the Board of Trustees of this village has determined the following offices to be filled and to be voted thereupon, with the terms of such offices respectfully noted as follows. Trustee, term of 2 years. Trustee, term of 2 years. Let be it further resolved that as required by section 15-104-3A of the village election law, notice of said village election be given at least 4 months prior to said election date, that the office to be voted upon at said election be likewise included in said notice. This resolution shall take effect immediately. Foregoing question is duly put to a roll call vote, which results as follows.
Okay, Mayor Moore, aye. Trustee Chombley?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Chombley?
Aye.
And the resolution is carried. The other new item I have is to approve the lease for the repeater on the water tower by Border Protection. It's a 5-year lease, which will go until 2014. I think everybody's had a chance to review that. I entertain a motion to accept the proposal.
So moved.
That's Tom, second.
Second.
Right. All right, any discussion? Not. Trustee Chombley?
Aye.
Trustee Martin?
Aye.
Trustee Chombley?
Aye.
And Mayor Moore, aye. I don't have any further new business. Does anyone else have any new business?
Yes, I copied you late this afternoon with salary question.
Discrepancy,
Right.
Correct.
And I'd like to get that straightened around so I can fix it for next payroll.
I think everyone was copied with that. It's to correct it's a mistake, right?
Right.
2 cents in the pay.
Right.
I entertain a motion to correct the error.
So moved.
Greg, second.
Second.
Kim. Is there any discussion? Not Trustee Chombley.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Trustee Chombley.
Aye.
Mayor Moore. Aye. Okay. Was there anything else we missed? Anyone else have any new business? I would entertain a motion to adjourn then.
So moved.
Tom, a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting is closed.
South Street.
No, I've seen it before. That was